At least 32 deaths recorded in the United States due to heavy winter storm.
Howling winds bring danger and misery to millions of Americans. More details on this later in the news. Good evening. I'm CJ Hero.
And I am Nina Richie Alago Flores. This is Mata ng Agila International. Now for the headlines. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. assures aid for calamity victims. Marcos administration to launch SIM card registration tomorrow, December 27. Octa research says NCR 7-day positivity rate is down to 11.5%. China stops publishing daily COVID-19 figures. And world's largest inflatable jersey honors Lionel Messi. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. assures aid and cash assistance will be given to calamity victims in eastern Visayas and northern Mindanao. Residents were recently devastated by severe floods and landslides. Randy Bernardino for the report.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered the distribution of relief to those devastated by flooding and landslides in eastern Visayas and northern Mindanao. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, confirms that calamity victims will receive family food packs and non-food relief items, such as modular tents, medical and hygiene kits. Under the Assistance to Individuals in Crisis program, the victims will also receive cash assistance. Earlier, the President instructed other government agencies to take immediate action to meet the needs of the victims. The government prepared more than 45,000 food packs for 8,621 families affected by the flash floods. The DSWD field offices of Region 8 and Region 10 reported severe floods, particularly affected residents of Eastern Samar, Misamis Oriental, Misamis Occidental, Camiguin, and Bukidnon. Clearing operations are ongoing to ensure the smooth flow of services in the areas. Rescue teams and volunteer groups remain alert. A 24/7 operations center is also opened to immediately respond to the situation. Officials continue to assess the damage caused by the disaster on property and infrastructure in the affected regions. Randy Bernardino for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
The House of Representatives has released its 2022 accomplishment report on the 19th Congress. The report indicates that within the 41 session days from July 25th to December 15th, 2022, a total of 7,402 proposed bills and resolutions had been laid. Nadine Aguilar has the details.
House Majority Leader Manuel Manix Delipe submitted the 19th Congress Accomplishment Report to House Speaker Martin Romualdez. According to the report, out of 7,402 overall proposed House bills and resolutions, 6,716 of those fell under House bills. 685 were House resolutions, and the remaining 263 were committee reports. Delipe added that 173 of the proposed bills passed the third reading, 21 passed the second reading, and 43 were approved as House resolutions. Delipe stressed the passing of concurrent resolution number 2 that supports the 2022 to 2028 medium-term fiscal framework of the Marcos administration and the Maharlika Investment Fund bill. Delipe said the most important piece of legislation approved by the House was the 2023 National Budget Bill in the amount of 5.268 trillion pesos. I am Vin Pascua reporting for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, Connected, on point.
All is set for SIM card registrations. Telcos and government agencies assure they are prepared for implementation of the law. Here's Nadine Aguilar for the details.
At exactly 12:01 midnight on December 27, prepaid mobile subscribers will be allowed to register their SIM card. According to Republic Act 11934, or the SIM card registration law, subscribers must register their SIM cards within 180 days from December 27 to avoid their deactivation. The registration will be done through a secured platform or website of the telcos. Telcos assures the public the registration of prepaid SIMs will be simple and easy for subscribers, adding that the registration process can be completed within 5 minutes. Telcos advise their subscribers to visit their official website or app to register and advise not to click links received from text. The Department of Interior and Local Government, or DILG, coordinated with local government units and government agencies to strengthen the registration facility in remote areas with weak internet connections. DILG will also help the wide-range information campaign to ensure all subscribers, especially those who live in far-flung areas, can register their SIM cards. Those who experience problems with their registration can call on the Complaint Center hotline at 1326 from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Department of Information and Communications Technology warns there may be those who attempt to use fake names or identification for the SIM card registration. Aside from the initial verification process of telcos through selfies, post-verification will be added by DICT after months of registration. The law indicates that anyone who would use fake information or identity on the SIM card registration can be imprisoned for 6 months to 2 years and be given a penalty of 100,000 to 300,000 pesos. Justice Secretary Crispin Rimulya ensures the subscribers given information will be confidential and will not be used by the law for state surveillance. The Secretary is confident that through the implementation of SIM card registration, cybercrime and cyber-related crimes like child pornography and child sexual exploitation can be lessened. For these crimes, Rimulya added the SIM card registration law will help increase conviction rates.
Please do not be afraid of the SIM Registration Act. This will not be used for state surveillance or any such nefarious purpose. The collection of data by the telcos will be under stringent regulatory oversight and monitoring of concerned government agencies, so the public can be assured that their data and information will be safeguarded.
Nadine Aguilar, reporting for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
The Marcos administration has installed free Wi-Fi connections to thousands of areas in the country under the government's Broadband for the Masses program. Eden Santos with the details.
The Marcos administration proudly announced the installation of free internet and Wi-Fi connections in many parts of the country for the year 2022. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, reports there are 4,757 live sites operational in 17 regions, including 75 provinces and the National Capital Region. Under the Broadband ng Masa program of the Marcos administration, the DICT pushes for the digitalization of government processes in 606 cities and municipalities. In the investment promotion of the country, the DICT has pushed for the Digital Startup Development and Acceleration Program and signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Singapore's Ministry of Communications and Information. The agency also launched the eGov Super App, the country's first one-stop platform to enhance local and national government services to ease the process of transacting and investment for Filipinos. To ensure social protection, the DICT successfully pushed for the enactment of the SIM Card Registration Act. For the coming years, the DICT is targeting improved digital infrastructure, investment promotion, and addressing red tape. It also aims for the completion of the Luzon Bypass Infrastructure Phase 1 of the Broadband ng Masa program in the first 6 months of 2023. Implementation of interagency initiatives like the National ID of the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA and the SIM card registration law. The DICT also plans to establish the National Cybersecurity Plan for 2023 to protect the country against online threats. Eden Santos for Matanang Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
The 7-day COVID-19 positivity rate in Metro Manila decreased to 11.5% on December 24. In a tweet, Octa Research Fellow Dr. Guido David said the number is lower than the 13.9% recorded on December 17. However, a significant increase in the positivity rate was observed in Albay, Ilocos Sur, Kalinga, and Pampanga. Ilocos Sur had the highest positivity rate with 44.6% on December 24, followed by Kalinga with 41.7%, Albay with 35.4%, and Nueva Ecija with 34.8%.
The Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines, or PHAPI, says new COVID-19 infections will possibly rise again due to Omicron subvariant BF7 and holiday gatherings. PHAPI says that BF7 may be more transmissible and may cause severe infection. The subvariant can possibly infect vaccinated people. The medical group likewise assures the public that hospitals are prepared for the possible increase in COVID-19 cases. The DOH also confirms 5,690 new COVID-19 infections from December 19 to the 25th. The latest report is lower than the 7,572 cases recorded from December 12 to December 18. But PHAPI strongly reminds the public to still follow minimum health protocols, such as wearing face masks. The group advises the public to refrain from going to crowded places or spaces and avoid gatherings if they are exhibiting COVID symptoms.
Senator Amy Marcos seeks a Senate investigation over the escalating price of local onions. She says there is a need to determine the cause of the price hike since there is a suggested retail price for onions. Mayan Corvera has the details.
Senator Amy Marcos has filed Senate Resolution number 350 to seek approval over the increase in market prices of local onions. Marcos insists there is a need to determine the cause of the soaring prices of onions since harvest just started in several provinces. Senator also refers to Administrative Circular number 9 issued by the Department of Agriculture last October 7. The circular sets the suggested retail price or SRP for red onions at 170 pesos per kilogram in Metro Manila. Marcos points out despite the SRP, the price of onions is still high. DA data says as of November 29, a majority of Metro Manila public markets are still selling local red onions at 280 to 300 pesos per kilogram. Marcos wants the Bureau of Plant Industry to explain why is it recommending the importation of onions. She also requests the Bureau to discuss the impact of importation on local onion production. Earlier, the DA said it is considering importing onions to fill the demands amid the hike of its prices. Mayan Corvera for Matanang Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Petroleum products are set to have their price adjustments tomorrow. As per Pilipinas and Steel Philippines, 95 centavos will be added per liter of gasoline and 50 centavos on kerosene. Meanwhile, 20 centavos will be deducted per liter of diesel. The mixed price adjustments will take effect tomorrow at 6 in the morning. Price adjustments for clean fuel will take effect at 4 p.m. on the same products and prices except for kerosene. The Department of Energy data indicate that up to December 2022, the year-to-date total adjustments have a net increase of 13 pesos and 95 centavos of gasoline per liter, 27 pesos and 50 centavos of diesel per liter, and 20 pesos and 80 centavos of kerosene per liter.
Later in the news, China stops publishing daily COVID figures. Beijing calls U.S. a direct threat to the world. And Russia claims U.S. is moving bioweapons research out of Ukraine. Mata ng Agila International. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go away.
This sport.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
Open for Business with Cesar Vallejos. Every Sunday, 9 p.m. This portion is brought to you by 318 Automart, Arlex Trading and Construction Supplies.
We now welcome you back to Mata ng Agila International. China will no longer publish daily figures for COVID-19 cases and deaths, the National Health Commission, or NHC, said Sunday, ending a practice that began in early 2020. Cities across China are struggling with surging virus cases, resulting in pharmacy shelves stripped bare and overflowing hospitals and crematoriums after Beijing suddenly dismantled its zero-COVID regime earlier this month. The decision to scrap the daily virus count comes amid concerns that the country's wave of infections is not accurately reflected in official statistics. Beijing last week admitted the scale of the outbreak has become impossible to track following the end of mandatory mass testing. Last week, China also narrowed the criteria by which COVID-19 fatalities were counted, a move experts said would suppress the number of fatalities attributable to the virus. The NHC did not explain its decision to stop releasing daily COVID data. The NHC said the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, will publish information about the outbreak for reference and research purposes without specifying the type of frequency of information to be published.
Health officials in India convened to assess how the global COVID-19 pandemic could evolve and affect the country. Top officials discussed how to fully prepare India's healthcare system this holiday season in case of another COVID surge. A union health minister announced a mock drill for the readiness of hospital infrastructure set for December 27. The press release is unclear about the exercises involved, but state health ministers are told to personally monitor and review the preparedness of all infrastructure and ensure there is adequate stock of essential medicines. Officials assure the public that there is no need to panic, as India has 3 years of pandemic management experience.
Former CIA and National Security Agency whistleblower Edward Snowden claims vindication over his prediction 2 years ago. Snowden tweets he discussed his theory in early 2020, but he was dismissed as paranoid. He cites a news article that reported how COVID-19 had accelerated and normalized the use of state surveillance and tracking tools against ordinary citizens and activists.
China deployed 71 warplanes in weekend military exercises around Taiwan. Taipei's defense ministry said that Monday, including dozens of fighter jets in one of its biggest daily incursions to date. The People's Liberation Army confirmed it conducted a strike drill on Sunday in response to unspecified provocations and collusion between the United States and the self-ruled island. In a social media post, Taiwan said there were 60 fighter jets, including 6 Su-30 warplanes, some of China's most advanced. In addition, Taiwan claims 47 of the sorties crossed into the island's air defense zone. On its part, China did not specify the number of aircraft utilized on Sunday's exercises, nor the exact location of where these maneuvers were placed. Beijing ramped up its military as President Xi Jinping's relationship with Taiwan deteriorated.
A Chinese defense ministry has called the United States a direct threat to the international order. China's Colonel Tan Kefei made the statement after President Joe Biden signed the 2023 U.S. National Defense Authorization Act into law. It includes more than $800 billion for the U.S. Defense Department. Beijing criticizes the latest law as the White House's effort to maintain its global dominance. Colonel Kefei says the U.S. is the culprit of regional turbulence, claiming the U.S. has caused massive casualties and displaced innocent civilians. The U.S.-China conflict has intensified this year, with no signs of tensions easing.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi hails relations between China and Russia are rock solid. In an apparent poke at the United States, Yi states as a country is seeking to revive the Cold War mentality and fabricating the false narrative of democracy versus authoritarianism. China and Russia have stood in solidarity with other countries to steadfastly push for multipolarity and greater democracy. Yi says all external attempts to sow discord between the neighbors are going to be in vain. Yi also confirms the bilateral trade between the two nations is almost near their $200 billion target. The foreign minister adds significant progress has also been achieved in cross-border connectivity.
A top Russian official claims the United States is moving bioweapons research out of Ukraine. The head of Russia's nuclear, biological, and chemical defense troops states the U.S. is transferring its unfinished research projects out of Kyiv and into Central Asia and Eastern Europe. He adds that the U.S. Department of Defense is interested in countries that already possess laboratories with a high level of biocontainment. Moscow's claims come after the U.S. has been seen boasting cooperation with Cambodia, Singapore, Thailand, Kenya, and other Indo-Pacific and African countries.
A royal insider claims Britain's King Charles III has banned Prince Andrew from Buckingham Palace. The report says the king evicted his brother due to a series of scandals and alleged ties with convicted American pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Queen Elizabeth reportedly allowed Prince Andrew to remain in the palace and retain a small staff after he stepped down from public duty in 2020. A British newspaper says under his brother's rule, the prince is now barred from having an office in the royal residence in London. The royal source says the king has made it clear Prince Andrew is not a working royal, he's on his own.
Up next, savage U.S. blizzard leaves 32 people dead. Severe flood sweeps streets in Saudi Arabia. And 6 dead in Spain after bus plunges into river. More global news when Agila International returns.
Ngayong gabi mga ka-PSL, ako di ay sigam tagangon ng Davao Occidental Tigers para sa mainit action sa hardcourt tutok lang sa Pilipinas Super League. Ito ang liga ko.
Let's get together. Sunday 25. Jesus City. Sana panoorin. Kaya sa Jesus City Show. Sumama na lahat tayo. Buong pamilya. Pati ang barkada. Mga pusa Sama-sama tumayo Sa kilos sila tayo Sa kilos nila ng Kilos City.
This portion is...
A brutal winter storm brought danger and misery to millions of Americans Sunday. Intense snow and frigid cold ripped parts of the eastern United States, with weather-related deaths rising to at least 32. A crisis unfolded in Buffalo, western New York. A blizzard has left the city marooned, with emergency services unable to reach high-impact areas. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has likened the situation to a war zone, describing vehicles along the roadsides as shocking. 8-foot snow buries Buffalo, and power outages make life-threatening conditions. Hochul warned anyone in the area to remain indoors.
The basic message is we're going to continue to keep warming centers open, encourage people to stay home. Roads are closed throughout Western New York and will be probably through Christmas Day. And it's really sad for all the individuals who've not been able to see family members, airport delays, and not able to be driving because of driving bans. But it is more important that people stay safe.
More than 200,000 people across several eastern states woke up without power Sunday morning. Many more had their holiday travel plans upended. The extreme weather sent wind chill temperatures in 48 U.S. states below freezing over the weekend. Holiday travelers left stranded with thousands of flights canceled and trapped residents in ice and snow-encrusted homes. 31 weather-related deaths have been confirmed across 9 states, including 4 in Colorado, who likely died of exposure, and at least 12 in New York State, where officials warned the number would likely rise. Officials described historically dangerous conditions in the snow-prone Buffalo region, with hours-long whiteouts and bodies discovered in vehicles and under snowbanks. Emergency workers struggled to search for those in need of rescue. The city's international airport remains closed until Tuesday. A driving ban remains in effect for all of Erie County, where the lakeside metropolis is located. Due to frozen electric substations, some residents may not regain power until Tuesday. One frozen substation is reportedly buried under 18 feet of snow. The winter storm with blizzard conditions and ferocious winds has howled for the last 5 days, but has shown signs of easing.
Heavy snowfall across large parts of Japan has killed 17 people over the last 10 days, with thousands of homes suffering power outages, according to Japanese officials Monday. Much of the country's west coast, as well as the northern region of Hokkaido, have seen persistent heavy snow in recent days. Some areas have seen almost a meter of snowfall in 24 hours, including the town of Oguni in northeastern Yamagata region, according to local media. Japan's weather agency has warned residents in the affected regions to avoid travel where possible after cars got stuck on roads in heavy snow. Government officials said Monday that 17 people have been killed and dozens more injured in the snow since December 17. National broadcaster NHK reported the dead included a man who fell from a roof while clearing snow and a woman found dead of suspected carbon monoxide poisoning in a car. In Hokkaido, tens of thousands of homes have lost electricity in recent days as the snow brought down power lines, though most connections have now been restored. The heavy snowfall is expected to ease from Monday.
An avalanche hit the 9,000-foot Tretkopf mountain in the Lake Zors. Officials say the avalanche trapped 10 skiers. Thanks to mobile footage from a vigilant onlooker, rescuers were able to rescue the victims. The search rescue team says 6 of those saved reportedly emerged unhurt. One of the 4 injured had to be airlifted to a hospital in Innsbruck. Local reports say the rescue group used helicopters, avalanche dogs, and searchlights.
A night of continuous heavy rainfall has flooded streets in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Videos circulated online show severe floods rocking cars and frightening residents. Crisis and disaster management officials say they had to close cores of main roads. Locals are warned not to leave their homes. Weather reports forecast strong winds and rainfall across the country for days.
6 people are dead and 2 injured after a bus plunged into a river overnight. The bus was crossing a bridge in Spain's northwestern Galicia region. The accident took place Saturday night near the city of Vigo and the border with Portugal. Reports say the bus was carrying people visiting their loved ones in jail in Monterosso, central Galicia. 2 people, including the bus driver in his 60s, have been rescued and taken to the hospital. Rescue operations had to be suspended overnight due to bad weather. They resumed at dawn with the help of mountain rescue units and a helicopter. The cause of the accident remains unknown.
4 people are dead after a bus traveling on an icy highway in the southern interior of British Columbia went out of control and rolled. All 53 people aboard the bus were taken to hospitals. 36 people suffer minor to serious injuries. Health officials say 8 people remain in hospital. The bus had been en route to Vancouver from Kelowna. Because of the large number of injured people, the casualties were sent to 4 different hospitals in the region. Extra staff had to be called in to handle the injured.
A French man suspected of killing 3 Kurds in a Paris shooting has confessed to a pathological hatred for foreigners, a Paris prosecutor said Sunday. According to the prosecutor, the 69-year-old man is set to appear before a judge on Monday. The suspect spent almost a day in a psychiatric facility before being returned to police custody Sunday afternoon. In a statement, the prosecutor described the suspect as depressive and suicidal and said he wanted to kill foreigners after a burglary in his home in 2016. The suspect reveals he initially wanted to kill people in the northern Paris suburb of Saint-Denis, which has a large immigrant population, but changed his mind after seeing few people and experienced difficulty in reloading his weapon. The Frenchman said he returned to his parents' home before heading to the 10th district where the shootout took place. As per the prosecutor's report, 3 others were wounded in the attack, none of them with life-threatening conditions, and 1 out of the hospital.
Hundreds of Syrian Kurds rally in the northern city of Hasakeh to protest a deadly shooting attack targeting members of the ethnic community in Paris this week, which left 3 dead and 3 others wounded. According to a protester, the rally demonstrated by the Kurdish people is their way of delivering their message to the world, especially to the French government. Protesters stressed they are fighting against the denial of their rights. They demand the French government to bring the perpetrator to justice. Protesters view the incident as a war against their people, adding that they are being targeted not only in the 4 regions of Kurdistan, but also in Europe with an aim to perish their people.
3 foreign aid groups have suspended their work in Afghanistan after the Taliban ordered all NGOs to stop their women staff from working. The 3 groups, Save the Children, Norwegian Refugee Council and CARE, made the announcement in a statement Sunday. The Taliban says it has received complaints that women working for the organizations are not observing a proper Islamic dress code. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken warns that barring women from working for NGOs would disrupt life-saving aid to millions of people in Afghanistan. It's the latest assault on women's rights by the Taliban. Last Wednesday, the Taliban banned university education for women, prompting several protests. The hardline Islamists have increased restrictions on all aspects of women's lives, ignoring international outrage.
After more than a month at sea, a broken-down boat with nearly 5 dozen Rohingya refugees has landed on Indonesia's west coast. The wooden vessel carried 57 men. 4 of them were hospitalized. The refugees will be temporarily housed at a local government facility. This is now the 3rd Rohingya refugee boat to arrive in Muslim-majority Indonesia in recent months. Thousands of mostly Muslim Rohingya risk their lives each year trying to escape Buddhist-majority Myanmar, where they are heavily persecuted. Sunday's arrival comes as the UN Refugee Agency and Southeast Asian politicians call for the rescue of another boat carrying refugees. That vessel has up to 200 people aboard, including women and children. It has been stranded at sea for several weeks.
The Jewish nonprofit agency has announced a record number of foreign Jews immigrated to Israel in 2022. The agency says that more than 70,000 immigrants came from 95 different countries. The said figure is also the highest number in 23 years. The nonprofit group confirms 37,364 are from Russia, while 14,680 are from Ukraine. Jews hailing from North America comprise the 3rd largest group of immigrants, which is 3,500, followed by France at 2,049.
A Myanmar junta court will give its verdicts on 5 remaining charges in the 18-month trial of jailed civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi on Friday, a legal source told AFP. According to a source, both sides gave final arguments today in court, and on December 30, the final verdict is set to be told. However, despite the scheduled verdict, rights groups have slammed the trial as a sham. On Wednesday, the UN Security Council called on the junta to release Suu Kyi in its first resolution on the situation in Myanmar since the coup. The decision marked as a moment of unity among permanent members and close junta allies, China and Russia, who refused to vote, opting not to wield vetoes following amendments to the wording. A maximum trial term equates to 15 years. Meanwhile, previous corruption cases generally sentenced Suu Kyi 3 years per charge. Coming right up, dozens injured in stand collapse at Cairo basketball game. World's largest football jersey honors Lionel Messi. And Korean star Song Joong-ki confirms relationship with a British woman. We bring you these stories and more when we return here on Mata ng Agila International.
Ang iyong pagsisikap. Dama namin ang iyong mga sakripisyo. Kita namin ang pagharap mo sa bawat pagsubok. Kaya sa kabila ng mga hamon ng buhay, nandito kami para umalalay. Kasi katulad mo, gusto rin namin ang magandang bukas para sa kanya. Hatid namin ang dekalidad na edukasyon at makabagong pasilidad sa abot kayang halaga. Kaya huwag ka na mangamba, sasamahan ka namin tuparin ang mga pangarap niya. Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. Sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Ay lalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa new era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
Mga ka-PSL, ako diay si Gab Dagangon ng Davao Occidental Tigers. Para sa mainit action, sa hardcourt, tutok lang sa Pilipinas Super League. Ito ang liga ko.
Let's get together. Sunday 25.
Sino ka? Nag-apply ako sa ibang bansa.
Iwan mo na ako.
Ay, patuwari ako. Sorry.
Nakatulog pala ako.
Hindi! Gising ka ng tulog.
Hindi ka mahilig na ginagawa niya si Apo.
Tulungan niyo ako. Hinuhuli nila ako. Wala naman ako kinalaman eh. Saka, wala akong ginagawa masama.
Good food, good times, good news. Balik kusina na naman ang inyong paboritong cooking show.
Katakam-takam na recipes, masarap na kwentuhan, at walang sawang tawanan. Kasama ng ating espesyal na celebrity guests, na tiyak na magdadala ng kasiyahan, kasama ang aking pinsan na si Sandy Daza.
Kain na! Dito lamang sa Lutong Daza sa Net25.
The news continues here on Mata ng Agila International. Manila, the capital city of the Philippines, is known for its high traffic and pollution, with the famous traditional jeepney being a main cause. To modernize the transport system in Manila and reduce street emissions, the government has launched the Jeepney Modernization Program. Even though it has not been fully implemented, it would greatly reduce the country's emissions. Orlo Bringas has a special report.
The jeepney is regarded as the king of the road in the Philippines. Jeepneys use diesel to run and are common in Filipino daily life. Fossil fuel that has been demonstrated to be among the biggest contributors to global climate change. The government plans to replace the outdated jeepneys with more modern, environmentally friendly minibuses as a result. At least 15-year-old jeepneys are no longer registered. According to DOTR, they will be replaced with the new ones powered by more environmentally friendly fuels and equipped with aircon, cashless payment system, global positioning system, or GPS tracking device. Passengers will feel more comfortable in modern jeeps. However, greater comfort, efficiency, and environmental friendliness can result in higher transportation costs. Around 270,000 franchise jeepneys are running in the nation, 75 of which are in Metro Manila, according to data from the Multidisciplinary Digital Publishing Institute. The OTR added that there are currently 6,000 modernized jeepneys operating in the nation. The government launched the so-called Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program in 2017. But the project slowed to a stop due to the pandemic. A few years later, the DOTR wishes to revive and push public utility vehicle modernization, especially jeepneys. Despite its benefits, not everyone is in favor of the plan. This applies mostly to the jeepney drivers and association who will be responsible for paying the transition costs. The government prepared units that cost up to 2.4 million pesos. But the average jeepney driver earns around 500 to 600 pesos a day. Modern jeepneys are expensive. It is safe to assume that they now have been less available after the large ban of jeepneys from public streets during COVID-19 pandemic and with the rising cost of gasoline. The government doubled the subsidy to 160,000 pesos for their financial support, but the price of the unit has also doubled.
Ang gusto namin pag-usapan ng mabuti at kailangan ma-identify saan ba manggagaling yung pundo. at magkano yung pundong gagamitin. Kasi kailangan ito makita natin kung ano yung direksyon, di ba? Hindi yung galing dito yung pondo tapos walang direksyon. Saan natin gagamitin yung pondo, di ba? Kailangan ilagay natin sa dokumento, sa papel. Naka-open sa taong bayan. Transparency report. Kahit sino pwedeng mag-audit yan. Ito yung pondo na nakukulikta at dito napupunta. Yun ang dapat na gawin ng Kongreso at Senado. At lahat ng mga departamento dapat may transparency report sa taong bayan.
Despite the critics, the government is pushing forward the implementation of its program. In a statement, Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista says that they have been working with the transport cooperative that would like to import electric minibuses from China. They're just waiting for the financing support from the Land Bank and the Development Bank of the Philippines, which we are really attending to and helping them for them to get the financing. The government is moving on with the implementation of its program despite the criticism. The public transport in Philippines is considered as one of the things that help to reduce gas emissions the most. Around 1/3 of the energy-related carbon emissions from the Philippines are caused by transportation of all kinds, and 15% of the pollution from road vehicles is due to jeepneys. While the jeepney modernization program is a good start, its full implementation is still a long way off. Whatever the disadvantage, one thing is certain: it definitely helps to protect the climate. However, despite all the challenges, one can already see that it will slowly change the street scene. Erlo Bringas reporting for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Egypt's health ministry confirms at least 27 people were injured after a stand partly collapsed during a Cairo basketball game. Health ministry spokesman Hossam Abdel Ghaffar says the incident happened at Hassan Mustafa Sports Hall. Some seats fell on spectators at the Super Cup match between Cairo's Al Ahly and Ittihad of Alexandria. Abdel Ghaffar adds most of the victims suffered broken bones and their injuries were not life-threatening. He says the victims were taken to the hospital for treatment. The sports ministry spokesman claims the basketball stands collapsed due to a stampede by Ittihad supporters. Officials are still investigating the cause of the incident. Sports accidents are common in Egypt. In 2012, a riot in Port Said caused more than 70 deaths. In 2015, 22 sports fans died due to a stampede.
An unusual rescue for the Houston Humane Society in southern Texas. The state has been enduring frigid temperatures affecting a colony of bats that have fallen from a city bridge. More than 100 bats have been picked up by Humane Society workers. The cold temperatures left them in hypothermic shock as they lay frozen on the ground. Workers picked them up, placed them in boxes, and took them to the animal shelter where they can be warmed. Humane Society Director Mary Warwick says most of the bats survived.
Demand for solar panels in Spain has shot up to unprecedented levels as energy prices soar. Not only individuals are buying them, but businesses and public entities are also getting on board. The Spanish solar power lobby group UNEF says two things are driving up demand. One is the energy crisis sparked by the war in Ukraine. The other is public funding available through the EU's vast COVID recovery plan. UNEF says solar capacity is 3 times higher now than it was in 2020. It says the price is competitive, adding it is 90% lower than what it was 14 years ago. Solar energy supplied just under 10% of the country's electricity last year. Solar power makes sense for Spain as it is Europe's sunniest country.
The Office for National Statistics, or ONS, shows UK consumers have slashed spending on holiday gifts this year. The recent survey cites household incomes across Britain have suffered due to an increase in gift prices. 6 in 10 adults surveyed admitted they were planning to cut their holiday spending by buying fewer and less expensive gifts. The data also shows British charities reported booming sales as cash-strapped shoppers look for second-hand holiday presents. Brits are tightening their pockets and aim to socialize less due to record-hitting inflation. In October, inflation in UK reached 11%, which is more than 5 times the Bank of England's 2% target. About 18% of respondents told the ONS they had no savings to shield themselves from surging costs. 7% admitted they had missed a bill payment in the past month. The ONS says households were facing the highest financial pressure from energy bills, followed by mortgage and rent payments. Other analysis reports say nearly half of UK adults claimed they were hardly able to heat their homes this winter. 3/4 of respondents say they are alarmed about the cost of living in the UK.
A Colombian artist pays homage to Argentine football star Lionel Messi by creating the world's largest inflatable jersey. Alejandro Uribe is the designer and creator of the oversized T-shirt. He says he got the idea while watching a match where he saw a gigantic T-shirt hanging from a helicopter in Rosario, Argentina, Messi's home city. How big is his creation? It measures 20 meters long from neck to waist, and it is 17 meters wide from sleeve to sleeve. It was displayed on a football pitch in Colombia. Uribe wants everyone to enjoy his work. He says the shirt can tour around the world, not only in Argentina.
K-drama star Song Joong-ki has confirmed that he is in a relationship with a British woman. High Dime Studio, the Korean actor's agency, released an official statement revealing that the descendants of the Sun actor has a new lady love from United Kingdom. But the agency refused to disclose her name or any additional information. The new girlfriend reportedly accompanied Song Joong-ki in the recent Reborn Rich press launch in Singapore, and the 37-year-old actor even introduced her to his staff. Song Joong-ki's new relationship came almost 4 years after his separation with actress Song Hye-ko. The two were married for nearly 2 years.
A YG official confirms Big Bang's Daesung has decided to end his contract with YG Entertainment. The announcement came after Big Bang's G-Dragon decision to stay in YG agency and Taeyang's choice to transfer his management to the Black label. The YG official says Daesung, being a member of the Big Bang, remains unchanged. The spokesperson also adds the agency will Daesung's new start and choice. They say they are open to collaborate anytime. A U.S. judge says movies can get sued for false advertising after cutting an actor's scene in the trailer but not in the film. Disappointed fans reacted to the film after being tricked by the Universal Pictures not seeing the actor on the final cut. Fans say they expect the Cuban star has no time to die as he would be featured prominently. But there was no appearance of Ana de Armas at all. The suit said the consumers were not provided any value for their rental or purchase. Universal had asked U.S. District Judge Stephen Wilson to throw out the complaint, arguing the trailers are protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which guarantees free speech. But in his ruling on Thursday, Wilson rejected the studio's argument, saying trailers were commercial speech and subject to laws around honest advertising. The suit is claiming at least $5 million on behalf of disappointed fans.
And to help you start the last week of 2022, here is a quote from Alan Alexander Milne, an English writer. Rivers know this, there is no hurry. We shall get there someday. I believe in this. I try not to be in competition with other people. I have my own time.
And I believe this quote suggests that we do it gracefully. Live every day with grace. You know, just calm down
every day
exactly. Or else you'll be compromising quality.
Listen to that and remember that. And that's a wrap for tonight's news. Catch the latest updates on our social media channels. I am CJ Hero.
And I am Nina Rich Yelago Flores. This is Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.